need to actually start wholesaling in 2018. So, I would suggest that you guys stay tuned until the end, because there are a few things that you really need to understand about this concept. Exactly know what, how it works, and what are some things that you need to know and start wholesaling 2018. So guys, once again here, Bashar Cat2. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I will also go ahead and write this right here. So, wholesaling on Amazon 101, 102. Cool. So my name is pronounced Bashar Cat2. If you're asking, Jay Savage, my man, what's happening? So it's Bashar Cat2. So guys, once again, wholesaling Amazon in 2018. This is what these are some of the things, some of the basics you guys need to have or understand. So there are 4 things that you guys really need to understand and really need to know before starting wholesaling in 2018. Number 1, so to start a wholesale business, it's not like an actual Amazon FBA, arbitrage, or it's not like something like private labeling or anything like that. You actually need to have an actual corporation. You actually need to be incorporated. You actually need to have a sense of company, right? To explain what wholesaling is, it's pretty much finding branded products already selling on Amazon. There's already a listing for them on Amazon. All you are doing is really going and becoming a seller. It's like arbitrage. It's kind of like arbitrage, but really you are looking for big branded products. Products that have been already selling on Amazon. So, just like the pros with arbitrages, you don't have to actually create a new listing. It's like private labeling. Some people don't like private labeling because you actually have to create your own listing, optimize it, do all the work and stuff like that to get it ranking, right? Where with arbitrage, those listings are already created. They've already been optimized, already have reviews, already have traffic. All you're doing is you're becoming a seller under those. Well, with wholesaling, you can't exactly just become a seller on those products. You actually need to get permission from the actual manufacturer or the main supplier of the actual branded product. And you actually need to get your products from them. So you can't just go to China, go to Alibaba and say, hey, can you guys make me this product? Make it exactly the same. That's fraud. That's not legal. You know what I mean? So you can't do that. So you have to actually go to the manufacturing facility, to the actual manufacturing company, and ask for permission in order for you to actually sell, their product, you know what I mean? Or to sell or become another seller on their listing. In order for companies to even talk to you or even look at you or return your emails or calls, number 1, 4 things, very important things that you need to know in 2018 to become a wholesaler. Number 1, you need to be incorporated. So you need to have an S Corp, C Corp, LLC, limited liability, whatever it is that you have to, you need to have. You have got to have in order for you to actually become a seller. And I will on Facebook, I'll put a link for an actual tool that I use online. It's a website that I use online. It's called Inkfile. And when you use that website, you actually can become incorporated within whatever state you want to be incorporated within, literally for like in like 10 or 15 minutes. And costs $100. So it's honestly very simple, very easy. You can get incorporated online. You file for your articles and just become, a corporation or a company that way. Number 2 thing, and very important, you need to have a website. So in order for a company to validate that you're actually, a real company, you need to have a company website. Okay, and that website needs to actually state the name of your company, what products you are interested in, or what products you are trying to sell. And just pretty much be very fully functional in order for you to even become a wholesaler, or even for those companies to even, care about you or look at you. You know what I mean? So that's kind of another thing that you guys need to understand and need to have. Now, that leads us to number 3. Number 3 is you need to have a business email address. So instead of it being basharcat2@yahoo.com, it needs to be like info@basharjcat2.com. Or e-commerce at basharjcat2.com, or whatever the company is called. So you need to have an actual business email address, and you obtain that when you actually create a website. When you actually get a domain, the hosting company will allow you to get emails also for it. And literally you can create a website with, you could make a website with Shopify for literally 30, 40 bucks a month, or you can, make it with WordPress, or just have somebody make it for you for a couple $100. So let's go ahead and, so file for corp, $100. And here's the link. Let's go ahead and put that on Facebook and pin that comment so you guys can use that. So Facebook, you guys can use that. So Inkfile is the company to go with. It's an online source. It's an online company you guys can do. I would put a link here, but you can't exactly do it unless you copy paste it. So guys, once again, Bashar Ketu here. So number one thing is you need to be incorporated. Number two is you need to have a company website. Number three, you actually need to have a company email. And then after that, what you need to do is after that, you need to actually have sorry, I'm reading messages here that I'm getting on Facebook. All right, let's take that out of the way. Number four thing is you need to actually, aside from the website, you actually need to have give me 1 second. I need to message this dude. Sorry about that, guys. So number four thing is you actually need to have my God, I lost my chain of thoughts. I was just talking about this, and then this guy just kind of started messaging me. So number four thing is you actually need to have, so aside from the website and the email, you need to actually have a business address, okay? So some of those companies won't even, look at you or talk to you unless you actually have an email address or a business address, Come watch me live on my timeline now. All right, sorry. So going back to it, so number one, you actually need to have a company website. Number two, you need to be incorporated and have your seller's permit from your state because they'll ask you for that. Number three, you need to have a company email address, and you need to have a company website. So those suppliers actually won't ship to your house. They won't send the product to your house. They will actually send it only to your business address. So you have to have a business address in order for those wholesalers to even send over to you. So answering question, Justin Broadnox, sorry if I butchered the name, says, is this wholesaling for retail products for FBA? So yes and no. If you mean retail arbitrage, no. This is a little bit, wholesaling is a little bit different. But yes, it is to sell on Amazon, and it is for FBA. So you do have to become FBA in order for you to even become a wholesaler. And that's exactly what this concept is. So, there are a few things or a few ways you can actually sell on Amazon, or a few concepts, right? So there's private labeling, which is what I do and what I teach. Number two thing is actually, arbitrage. There's online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, which is also what I do. I teach it a little bit, but that's not my main the main thing that I focus on. And then there's also wholesaling. There are other ways of doing things, but there's also wholesaling, which is a kind of a little bit of a bigger scale of actually working with Amazon or selling on Amazon. So that's another thing that you guys can, absolutely do, and you guys can absolutely go into. As I need to make it, clear that I am not a wholesaler. The information that I am getting is literally from my friends in the industry who actually are wholesalers or have been wholesalers for years. And I reached out to them, and literally, I have 3 friends that have been wholesaling for years. They do 6, 7, and 8 figures with Amazon wholesaling, and they were able to mentor me over the past week because I have been getting a lot of you guys, a lot of my students and my followers saying, hey, we need you to make some videos about wholesaling, So I know that all my videos are about Amazon FBA. They're all about, things like that, arbitrage, private labeling, but I was getting a lot of requests for wholesaling. So I decided that I'm going to be taking a whole week talking about just wholesaling, talking about, exactly what it is, how you can start, how do you contact suppliers and all that. So tomorrow's video will be more about how to contact suppliers, where to find them and whatnot. Today, I just kind of wanted to put the basic, very, very basic out there. 4 very important basic things you guys need to know. Number 1, you need to have a company website. Number 2, you actually need to be incorporated with your seller's permit or your state license. Number 3, you need to have an email, a company email. And then number 4, you need to have that business address because they will not deal with you if you're trying to ship to your house. So Justin, again, I mean, is it retail products like big brands like Apple, etc.? Yes. So this is exactly what do you do? Saw this dude who's selling a course. Obviously, his name is Boo. I don't know who Boo is, but is it Boo? I think I'm pronouncing it right. But I actually no, I think I've heard of that name. I don't think that's wholesaling. I think that's more like arbitrage. But wholesaling is when you buy in big bulk, but you do buy from big brands like I don't know if Apple you could actually wholesale for Apple, but like brands like Nike, or you could do like beauty supplies or things like that. But yes, and it's broad. Not sure what you mean by it's broad, but sure. So it's buying big brand products and then reselling them. So once again, it's not like private labeling. It's not like what I teach you guys, where you go find a product already selling on Amazon. You create your own listing. You create a different variation or whatnot, and then you kind of create your own product and then sell it on Amazon. You create your own listing. You optimize it. You get reviews and all that. This is kind of similar to arbitrage, where the product is already there. The listing is already there. You're pretty much just becoming a seller on the actual product or on the actual listing, and competing with other sellers. Now, here's the thing. Look, there's a reason why I teach private labeling, right? Although you are competing with other listings on, on the actual, on the whole thing, but your listing is special to you. Your listing is actually unique to you. You could do whatever you want to it. With the right mentorship, you can get it, as high as tens of thousands of dollars in revenue, a month from just one product. With wholesaling or even arbitrage, the margins are pretty low. I mean, especially wholesaling, like when I was talking to them, they're talking about 5, 10, 15% profits. We're talking about 30, 40, 50% profits. So obviously, they're doing a lot more volume. But the other thing also is that there's a lot of money needed to be invested first in order for you to become a wholesaler. There's a lot of prep. You can't just be an Amazon seller and expect to start wholesaling. You know what I mean? So you can't just say, oh, well, I sell on Amazon. I have 5 products. I'm selling 5, 6 units a day. I'm going to become a wholesaler. Nobody's really going to look at you. Everybody's going to look at you kind of funny. Suppliers are not even going to return your calls or return your emails. So there is some actual prep that needs to go into it before you even try to wholesale or try to do anything with Amazon wholesaling or with those suppliers. That's what I'm saying. To have a company, you need to be established. So when when you're actually going to approach them, they will look at you and treat you like a professional, not just this dude trying to sell out of his home on Amazon. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to take it up a notch, and that's kind of why it says 101, 102. So wholesaling 102. So a lot of times you will hit a brick wall where you can't pass through a specific shield or a specific shell. So some suppliers actually won't even deal with online sellers. They need you to actually be a brick and mortar. They need you to become to have a retail store. Now, I mean, not everybody can open a retail store and be an online seller. Some people, like I decided to become an online seller because I didn't want to deal with employees. And I didn't want to deal with retail stores. Didn't want to deal with customers face to face anymore. So this is why I came to the online world. But some suppliers won't even deal with you. So let's say if you're doing supplements, they won't deal with you if you're trying to sell online. They'll deal with somebody like GNC or some, supplement nutrition shops, if you're doing beauty, like Mac or something like that, they won't deal with you. If you're just an online seller, you have to have an actual brick and mortar store. So that would be the next step up, trying to open brick and mortar stores. Also, if you're going to be selling in specific niche, you would need to have a different website for every one of your niches. Let's say if you're doing beauty, you would have a website for just beauty. If you're doing groceries, website for just groceries. If you're doing, nutrition supplies, you would only have one website for nutrition supplies. Another step, even on top of that, creating not just a company websites where okay, so the supplier can, I'll give them my company website, and the supplier can come and make sure that, I'm an actual company, I have a company website or whatever, but actually having your products online on your website where people can go and order your products, check it out, have it delivered to their house through your website. So, and I mean, that's kind of a benefit also, because that's just another channel to building your store, to generating more revenue. Aside from selling on Amazon, you also have another channel, and you can generate traffic by doing, Facebook ads or Google AdWords or things like that, generating traffic into your website. So once again, guys, going down to wholesaling, 101. Number one thing is you need to be incorporated. There's a link in my Facebook to actually get incorporated. Number two would be to creating a website that has to do with your company. Number three, creating an email, a business email that that is generated from your domain. Number four, having an actual business address, because a lot of those suppliers will not deal with you if you are just a dude selling outside of his or her garage. You know what I mean? You have to be an actual business. Taking it up a notch, doing different niches, different websites for each niche, and then also having those websites being functional than they are just informational, where people can actually go and order your products on your website. And then the fourth and last thing would be having partnerships with retailers. So let's say, because you can't open, 4 or 5 different stores because you want to sell, have a specific access to a specific supplier to sell their products on your store, and you just can't do that because you are just an online seller, and they want somebody that actually has a brick and mortar. What you do is you actually go and seek out partnerships. So you find a supplier, like somebody like a Sally's beauty supplies, or a nutrition shop, or say, and you'd be like, hey, look, you order this product, I order this product through you, I place my order through you, using your name, using your permits, using your brick and mortar, right? And then every time I place an order, I give you 5 or 10%. That is an extra cost, but you're also getting access to revenue and to avenues you did not have before. So that's kind of that's kind of where things are at. That's kind of how things work. So that's kind of where where your mind needs to kind of be at. You know what I mean? You need to always look at, okay, what's the next step up? How can I expand? It can be, okay, well, I've got here and then that's it. That's kind of where I stay. You can't plateau. You always have to keep going up, and maybe, looking at opening your own retail stores and things like that. But that's kind of, when you're doing 7-8 figures, but basics, very basic. If you want to go into wholesaling, you must be incorporated. You must have a business website. You must have a business email and a business phone number. Once you have those 4 basic things, then you can go and start actually, looking for suppliers, which is tomorrow. I already made a video about this. I'll be posting here right after I'm done with this live call. If there's any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I'll kind of let this run for, the next minute or so to see if you guys have any questions about this or anything else. As I told you guys before, this whole week I'll be talking about just wholesaling. I might have a couple of days where I just won't have anything to talk about, really. And once again, guys, I really need you to understand, I am not a wholesaler. So I'm not telling you this from personal experience. I'm telling you this from other people who have been wholesaling on Amazon for years, who are doing 7 and 8 figures. And they are my personal friends. They're people that I know from the industry that I have been talking to, who actually were able to help me out and answer some questions for me and kind of take me and guide me through the entire process and show me what it is. So I'm pretty much relaying their message. And the reason why I'm doing this, because, I got a lot of you guys asking me to cover wholesaling in my channel and talk about wholesaling, because, all I talk about is private labeling and arbitrage and FBA and things like that. Although this is also FBA, but this is a little bit different. This is kind of, private labeling and arbitrage all in one. So it says, where can I find arbitrage? Wait, hold on, what? I'll read that question a little bit. So as I said, it's more about, arbitrage and private labeling all together, but it's a little bit different, because there is some prep needed in order for you to actually start selling. It's not like when we do private labeling where you just come and create an account and start selling on Amazon. It doesn't work that way. It's a little bit more difficult. But aside from that, guys, I don't see any questions here on Facebook. I don't see any questions on YouTube. Don't see any concept that I talked about right after or sometimes before. But aside from that, y'all,